Good evening, everyone. This is a public meeting, the Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals for November 15, 2012. Tonight we have three matters before us under new business. I'd like to remind everyone, if you plan on speaking either for or against the project, that you please sign in at the podium with your name and address before addressing the board. First matter before us is under new business. This is ZB 2012-44. Petition is for a variance. The applicant is Pawtucket Street Development, LLC. Property is located at 391 Pawtucket Street. The petition is to convert two existing structures into a total of 8 residential units without meeting rear setback or lot area per dwelling unit requirements pursuant to Section 5.1 of the Lowell zoning ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, for the record, James Flood, 549 Rogers Street, Lowell, representing Pawtucket Street Developer, LLC. With me tonight is Will Soucy, who is the manager of the LLC and the developer, and Joe Pesnola from Hancock Associates, who's our project engineer. Mr. Soucy does own the property at 391 Pawtucket Street. It's zoned TMU and consists of 18,929 square feet. Property is also within the Lowell National Historic Park and Preservation District. At the present time, there is a 3-story building located in the front of the lot, and according to Steve Conant, who's here tonight, at the planning board meeting, he identified that as the Lambert House. And it's been there for many, many years. There's also a 1-story masonry garage located in the rear of the lot, and there are 2 other wood frame buildings in the back, one a garage and one a pavilion. Mr. Soucy's proposal is to renovate and redevelop the Lambert House, which is the one in the front, into 6 residential units. He also proposes to renovate and redevelop the existing masonry 1-story garage in the back into 2 studio units. As to the other 2 wood frame buildings, he would demolish those 2 buildings, and then he would redo the driveway and the parking lot to provide for 17 spaces, and also provide new landscaping around the site. We are before you tonight for 2 variances. One is to allow us to maintain the existing non-conforming garage without the required rear yard setback. As it presently stands, we're 5 feet. The building's been there for many years. The zoning calls for 20, so we're asking to maintain that. And also we're asking a variance to allow the development without the required land area per dwelling unit. As it stands now, we have 2,366 square feet per dwelling unit, when the zoning calls for 2,500. The property was recently sold to Mr. Soucy in accordance with an RFP issued by the City of Lowell, and the developer also has to conform with the requirements of that RFP. One of them is that there has to be 2 affordable units in the development, so we will provide 2 affordable units there. As to the unit makeup, in the main building, the 6-unit building, there will be 4 units with 2 bedrooms, 2 will be 1 bedroom. As to the garage, they will both be 1 bedroom with a loft above. We appeared before the planning board on November 5th on an application for site plan approval. There were some neighbors there. We had discussions. The planning board did approve the site plan with conditions, and as this board is aware, any conditions placed on the development by the planning board would have to be incorporated in your decision. They have conditioned the approval on the client working with DPD to prepare revised architectural plans for both the Lambert House and the garage. There was some concern about the condition of the garage, and Mr. Soucy has agreed to redesign it to try to have it conform with the neighborhood, and also the house will maintain the architectural integrity that's there today, but he's going to work with them on the framing and stuff that's going to go into the house. They also wanted us to work with the DPD and also with the Lowell Parking Conservation Trust because they own the Spalding House next door, as to final landscaping plan, which we've agreed to do. Jane Calvin was there at the meeting, who has quite a knowledge on trees, so we're going to work with her in coming up with a landscape plan that'll be beneficial to both sites. They also want us to comply with all the comments that were issued by the city departments and noted on a memo from the DPD dated October 26, 2012. We agreed to that, and at the planning board meeting, we submitted a response from Joe Piznola that answered all of their concerns. They also requested that we relocate the trash bins that were located on the side of the Lampert house that was facing the Spalding house. We've agreed that we would move them and move them to the back of the site by the garage so they wouldn't be visible to the Spalding house, which was next door. And they also requested that we place a sign. Does it show on there, Joe, the parking area? On the parking area located on the Spalding House Park, indicating that that parking area is for park visitors only and not for residents. So we've agreed to do that. Because of the existing location and size of the building on the lot, as in my position, my client would suffer a severe hardship if this petition was not approved. The property is zoned TMU, and the proposed use is allowed with planning board approval. We did obtain it, so I think that the approval of this would not be in derogation of the intent of zoning and would not be detrimental to the public good. So I think it's a good project for the city. We intend to work with the DPD to maintain the historical character of the building, and we'd ask that you approve it. Joe can go over the engineering. We're here to answer any questions that this board might have.
Just after listening to the summary that you just gave, just one quick comment or question would be, the parking for the Spalding House, I know you mentioned you wanted to keep that parking just for visitors to the Spalding. Mm-hmm. Would there be any type of signage, or how would you mitigate that other people aren't parking in there, for instance? Is there any?
We'll have 17 spots in our lot.
No, I know that.
For ours. And that, I mean, I don't think it's going to be I don't think they're concerned about our residents parking there. There are people all over the neighborhood that park there. So they asked us to put a sign there that it's only for the park itself, which is behind there. Yep. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's just, in listening to your dissertation, that was just a comment. I was wondering how you, I know there was a comment in that the units are going to be professionally managed. I don't know if that means there's going to be somebody living there on site.
No one will live there,
Okay.
but Mr.
Yep.
Susi,
Okay.
He has developed some nice projects in the city.
Yep.
So.
Okay. I don't have any additional questions at this point. Is there anything else you'd like to add at this stage?
But Joe can go through the project if you'd like him to.
Yeah. Does anybody on the board need any dissertation from this gentleman at this point? No? Okay. We're going to open it up to the public at this point, Mr. Flood.
Okay.
All right. Is anyone here that'd like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Stephen Conant. I live at 34 Beresford Avenue. I'm also on the board of directors of the Lowell Parks and Conservation Trust, which is the owner of the Spalding House at 393 Pawtucket Street, which is an immediate abutter to this project. I want to speak in favor of the variance that's being requested. We spoke before the planning board a week ago, I believe. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. And they have made some accommodations on some requests that we had. We know Mr. Susi to be a very good developer in the city. We expect it to be a high-quality project. We at one point historically actually were owners of the property. We stepped in at a time to acquire the Red Cross building at significant risk to our organization. Thanks to the help of the city and Congressman Meehan, we now have the Spalding House Park, which is immediately behind that. And we think this is a really good outcome for the whole area and would urge you to support the request that they have made.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? Hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none. That portion of public hearing is closed. I'd like to open it up to the board. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Attorney Flood. I'd like to understand the idea of the hardship behind this. When I look at the zoning regs, and I understand it's 2,500 square feet per unit, and the site is 18,900 square feet, which is over 1,000 square feet shy of the requirement to be per unit for 8 units. And understanding that financial hardship isn't something that we can entertain here, I just understand what hardship you see that you have.
Well, it's an existing building. We have to use the entire building, and you can't, I mean, I think to put a full unit on the top floor would be a problem. So I think this conforms with what the city wants. There's 2 affordable units that are gonna go in there. And, I mean, the city established this lot. There's nothing we can do about it. The buildings were there, and I would think that this development goes along with the neighborhood. There's nothing we can do about that.
The only hardship I heard you mention is that to establish the 3rd floor as a single unit would be a problem?
Well, I think under 48, I think it says the location of buildings on the site is a hardship too. And the building in the back is a non-conforming structure that's been there for years. And it's only 5 feet off, and that's another variance. But as far as the land area per dwelling unit, that's all there is there. And, I think we're trying to make the building conform with the others in the neighborhood, and I think this works. I don't know what else to tell you.
But if we had the 3rd floor as, if we had the conformance of the 2,500 square feet per unit, why, I'm struggling with the hardship notion for that particular variance. I understand the 5-foot setback in the rear. I'm not struggling with that one. I'm struggling with the over 1,000 square feet shy on the total lot area for 8 units. So why are we seeing that as a hardship, not to go to 7 units?
Well, because I think with the size of the building and the size of the units, it'd be tough to build and rent as a single unit. I think that's the only hardship that I can find, unless you think of anything else, Joe? You've worked on it. Yeah, that's the only thing that we...
What's the square footage of the 3rd floor? How many square feet is it?
1,400.
And that's including the common stair?
Yes, Mr. Susi can answer.
So the actual unit would be closer to 1,100 square feet?
Do you want to answer it, Will?
Hi, I'm Will Susi, 11 Lowell Road in Dracut. The square footage, if I remember offhand, was somewhere around 1,400 square feet. There is an internal stair that is part of that excuse me, probably 1,600 square feet. And then one stair out the back for the second means of egress. And it would both be 2 small units.
There seems to be a loss in square footage on the eave space on the 3rd floor?
Yes, there is. The roofs come in with the mansard. It shrinks quite a bit. All the interior walls are tapered.
I think the 3rd floor unit would be under 1,000 square feet once you consider the slope of the roof. And it doesn't seem like a 950, 980 square foot unit would be unwieldy for a rental unit. I think that could easily be a 2 or 3 bedroom unit. I'm just trying to do the math here and understand
Right.
how we would not see.
We went round robin quite a few times, and it seemed like this would be the best plan for us.
I understand it is the best
Okay.
plan financially, but I think the hardship case is hard to prove asking for a variance for the 2,500 square feet.
We also consider we have the park right next door, so it's not, you don't feel confined in the property at all. The new developed park, it feels like it's your own, so it's not like it's squeezed between 2 buildings.
I agree with
The existing footprint of the garage, we're not expanding beyond that also.
I agree with the logistics, I just
Okay.
don't understand the variance, because I don't see a hardship being proven here. That's all.
Okay.
I'm trying to understand that, and I'm struggling with that. The units in the garage have a 3rd
I'm sorry?
The units in the garage have a third space, or bedroom-type space with this loft element, so they could possibly be,
Well, we,
as
the
a-
loft thing, probably for workspace, something of that sort. We're trying to, would market it more like a, an artist thing, or just something, storage.
it just seems like a natural for maybe even students, and
Could very well be.
as students, you would tend to see that as a third bedroom space.
Oh, I wouldn't know that we would try to hope that wouldn't happen, for sure. We don't plan for students, honestly. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than that.
Okay. I'm thrilled that this building is finally being developed. I haven't seen any elevations, and I don't know if those are available, but I saw comments related to the elevations regarding brackets that are being removed.
No, they're not being removed. We're keeping the corner boards, the brackets at the eaves, all of that remains.
How about the siding? Is the
It's
siding?
aluminum siding now that's coming off, and we're going to put hardy plank on it.
So you're going to restore the siding? Great, okay. And the new entry, the current entry, I think, is aluminum glass doors. Is that
Yeah,
being?
no, that's not going to stay. No,
That's not gonna stay.
that's going to,
Excellent,
right.
excellent, okay. Well, thank you very much. I have no further questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. Kevin?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I think it's a great project. I think this building needs this area needs some upgrading, and I think it's a perfect fit for some housing. I understand where Dennis is coming from as far as the hardship, being 100 square feet or so per unit light, but I also think that third floor unit would be tough to rent to a 2 or 3 bedroom family on the third floor down there. So with the open land around the building and the parks and the Spalding House, et cetera, I agree that it does open it up a little more. It almost seems like it's already your land, so that's what my thoughts, I guess, on that concern. The only item, I was just curious, are you bringing in a dumpster for the residential use, or is it gonna be trash cans, or? So each unit will have their own can, how about storing that? Are you just gonna line them up somewhere? I just didn't see that on the plan.
On the original plan, they were lined up on the side of the building.
Oh, there is a trash enclosure, I'm sorry. I see it on the right-hand side of the
It'll
building.
be a fenced area that'll hold each of the trash barrel units. The planning board has asked us to move that to the side of the garage building.
The back, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that actually would be a good idea, maybe behind the shrubbery and stuff that you have there. And then the drive is intended to be a circular drive, one-way direction coming in and out? Okay. Those are my only comments. I think it's a great project. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. I concur with my colleagues. I do agree it's a great project, and timing is always everything, as hopefully the economy moves forward. Just want a clarification on the square footage. We heard briefly it was 1,400 and then roughly 1,600 minus 200 in the common area. What is that actual number? It is,
You have plans?
Just going by memory, I believe the first 2 floors are 1,600 square feet, and then when it tapers down up when the mansard comes in, if we would take it from the ceiling straight down to the floor is where it gets
so
tighter.
you'd gain 100 square feet as you move forward, correct?
Pardon me?
You would gain that 100 square feet. Is that what you're saying?
No, and when you get to the 3rd floor, the mansard shrinks the building
Shrink,
down.
but you
Right.
gain it downstairs, so it is
Right,
actually
oh, yes,
1,100.
that's correct, yeah.
Okay. The only other question I have is, you just related that in the parking, the circular driveway, is that gonna be marked, or is it gonna be signed?
Yes, it'll be signed.
Okay. And what about snow removal?
If I'm using, I'm sorry? Yep, no, if we're talking the city, we will be plowing their sidewalk, their driveway as well as ours.
Okay. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary. Mr. Flood, is there any, there's the Lowell Historic Commission, they need to do any other review of this at this
No.
point?
They have no
I didn't see any comments. I meant to ask you that
No,
earlier.
they don't have any jurisdiction, but we've agreed to work with DPD to maintain the.
Yeah, because I know in the narrative it talked about a historic district, and then I said, well, I didn't see any comments from the historic board.
Nope.
Are you planning on doing any student housing in this facility? Okay. Okay, I might have something else later, but Corey?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. For starters, I'm very familiar with this property. I live in the neighborhood. I practically drive by it every day, and, over the years, it's really, due to the fact it was, a nonprofit, it's really wasn't maintained well. It's a beautiful old piece of architecture, it really is, and I know Mr. Susi has done projects in the city, he's very reputable, and I know will do an outstanding job with this piece. Now, you are requesting 2 variances, correct, Counselor?
Correct.
One is the garage, which is actually pre-existing non-conforming, correct? So that's, I look at that as something, pre-existing that hasn't been a problem, and I don't foresee a problem. In the land area per dwelling unit, I know is a little bit shy, but, I think, 1,000 square feet for a project of this magnitude is, not an unreasonable request, one I'm inclined to support. Joe, question to you now, this being the Red Cross building, was this ever on the tax rolls recently, or this building pay taxes?
I'm not totally sure, to tell you the truth, about what the tax situation was on this building.
Okay, I'm thinking not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, yeah. 'Cause
And it came through an RFP, so I don't think so.
Yeah, right, so this is great, so we could potentially have 8 units on the tax rolls again, all beautified, and I think it's a great project. The board members before me answered a few of my concerns that I had. I think it's great, I really do. I support it, and I wish you the best on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. Melissa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also agree that this looks like a very exciting project. I can't see when it's finished. I can't wait to see when it's finished. I wanted to ask, did you get the staff comments as well from the City of Lowell?
Yes.
And do you have any comments or responses to the first 5? I know you addressed the planning board comments, but the first 5 comments regarding the drive lane being widened or...
Those are all taken care of. We
Oh.
responded, we
Okay.
responded to the planning board. We gave a written response to the planning board, and we addressed all of those at the time.
Okay.
And we're going to conform to them. And I think, well, does this plan have the new driveway width on it? To the planning board, it had it, but this was submitted before we made those revisions.
Okay,
But no, we're going to conform with all of those.
Okay.
There's a written response.
thank you for that. Appreciate it. No other comments.
Thank you. Van?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also think this is a good project. That section does need some TLC, that building. The only question that I had was the future tenants, occupants, are they like going to be high income people or low income or all the above or no particular?
2 of them are going to be affordable, the other will be market rate
Okay,
tenants.
okay. That's the only questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Van. Well, I guess, in summary, I believe the petitioner has worked very hard on putting these plans together. I know they're pretty detailed, and I'll speak for the board. I think we're always in acceptance when we have a nice set of detailed plans to go through. I think, Mr. Flood, you reviewed all the highlights that I think each of the members had here. It's good to hear that you're working with the city on trying to put this finished product together. So the final plans are dated as of October 31st. Is that correct? Is that the date of the final plans?
I think we submitted a new plan on November 5th, didn't we, when we met? We had revised the plans when we met with the planning board on the 5th.
Yep.
But anything further, we have to deal with the planning board on the architectural and in the landscaping.
Okay, so are we going to accept the, Joe, I just want to pass this by you, make sure we're correct on this. We're going to accept the plans as submitted for November 5th, 2012.
Yes,
Okay. I'm going to use that as just one of the conditions, that those are the plans we're going with, because I believe you captured everything in those set of plans based on city comments.
Right, we did revise them for the planning board, but
Sure.
we had already filed yours, so we
Yep.
didn't submit it.
So it is the 31st.
No, it is.
See. Mr. Flood, you should know the chairman's always right.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back to the 31st. Thank you. Yeah, continuing on, I believe, as far as the criteria for the hardship, I believe, based on the two variances that you're looking for, that regarding the criteria and prerequisites, that the petitioner has demonstrated that you do meet the three criterias, and I know you kind of ran through that anyways, but I just want to make sure we all understand. I understand what Dennis is asking in regards to the relief that you're looking for, but I think if we take a look at the plan in total and look at what you're looking for and look at the pre-existing conditions there, that we're still within the bounds of granting this. A couple other conditions, Mr. Flood, if I can run through those with you. I know you mentioned about the exterior, and I know the city had comments about the garage with the exterior, the facade matching up as best as possible. I think you mentioned you were gonna work with DPD to try to tie those two in together. I'm gonna put it as a condition, but I know you've already addressed it anyways, but I just wanna make sure that dialogue continues and.
It is a condition. As a matter of fact, it was kind of funny, we were sitting at the meeting and Jerry Frechette drew a roof on the building that he was proposing, so, no, we're gonna work with them.
Oh, okay.
He did, that happened.
One thing I didn't hear you mention in your opening remarks, but I saw a comment from DPD was regarding Conservation Commission. Now, has anybody talked to you about going before Conservation? I know those were in the comments from the city. I didn't hear you either mention it or address it. If you could speak to that.
Yeah, we've got very minor work within the buffer zone of the river. It actually nips the northwest corner of the property. It'll actually only be work to the building itself, the exterior facade. So we intend to file a request for determination of applicability with the Conservation Commission in the coming days. So.
Okay. And that's what I had written here, if you were going to file one of those. So, again, Mr. Flood, I'm going to have that as a condition, but it sounds like you guys have that covered.
I think we responded, Bill, didn't we respond to that in the response, Joe? Yeah, it was in the written response to the comments that he was going to do that.
Okay. Did we? I don't think we received that, did we? I don't think it was in our package, but I know DPD had it in there as a footnote on per their review, and I didn't see anything before, because I was a little bit surprised it didn't go to Conservation first.
I only have one copy, but we did respond to all of those.
If you have it covered, like I say, we'll keep that as a condition. Plus, as you mentioned, the planning board conditions will be incorporated in this, so we'll have that. And does any other board members have any other conditions, comments at this point?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I just have one comment. There's an opportunity here that I was wondering if you'd be open to the garage units. The two units are on grade, and it's possible that you can accommodate a handicapped accessible entrance?
Yeah.
And at least those units would be handicapped accessible, at least to get inside. And I just don't see that on the drawings as far as a curb cut or any of those details regarding handicapped accessibility. But that'd be great if they could be made. Thank you.
Okay, so you're asking for a condition on
Handicapped accessibility for the two units in the garage at the entrance only.
Yep, okay. You're all set with
No
that?
problem.
Yep. Okay, anybody else? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to have a motion. Just give us a minute. Yep. With DPD to do the facade, the exterior for the garage, and the main building tying in together. Well, then I had what he's telling me is what this guy's gonna do is he's gonna file this RDA. And then that, I guess that leaves it up to conservation whether they'll work at it or not. You get the planning board conditions. Yeah. Yep.
All set. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, matter before us, ZB 2012-44, 391 Pawtucket Street for a variance with the following conditions. Submit and accept final plans dated 10/31/12. Petitioner work with the DPD for extension of the main property and the proposed property to be tied in together. Incorporate the planning board's conditions on the site plan. Have the applicant file for an RTA to be reviewed for conservation and have handicap accessible to 2 units in the garage units.
I'll second the motion.
Have a roll call.
Mr. Bailey?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Ahern?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Perrin?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approve with conditions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck with the program. Okay, our next matter before us is ZB 2012-45. The petition is a special permit. The applicant is Gina Taccone Moore. The property is located at 685 Lawrence Street, and the petition is to convert vacant warehouse space into a personal training facility pursuant to Article 12, Table of Uses of the zoning ordinance. Is Ms. Taccone Moore here? Hi. Hopefully I didn't butcher your last name.
No, it's fine. Most people usually do. Tacone Moore's fine.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
evening. We had actually asked for a continuance to December 10th, just to make sure that we've got everything kind of in order.
Yep, and the board did receive the communication
Okay.
from Mayor and Associates regarding this, and you've asked to have it continued to December 10th. So Joe, is that, you got
it's-
room on the December 10th agenda?
Yeah, there's only 2 items on that agenda thus far, so yeah.
Okay. And we should be all set, so we'll see you on December 10th.
Great, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Mr. Chairman, my client was here to address the board in regards to that particular matter that was just before the board. Not sure that there's any objection to a continuance, but he wanted to make several comments in regard to the petition tonight, so in case he's not available to come back
Okay.
on the 10th.
So-
My name's Andrew LaCourse. I'm an attorney. I represent Mr. Stevens, who is a tenant of the same building.
Okay, so let's, hold on a minute.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, good evening. My name is Ryan Roque. I represent Gina Moore. In connection with matters that are ancillary.
Can you address this at the podium, please? Yeah.
I'm sorry. In connection with the matters that are ancillary to tonight's meeting, I have to strongly object to Mr. LaCourse speaking tonight on behalf of his clients and on behalf of absolutely anything to do with this project at this time.
Yep.
Firstly, the comments that Mr. LaCourse has to have, would like to proffer tonight are in connection with a lawsuit that is now pending or shall be filed in connection with something that has nothing to do with the proposed plan by my client. It has to do with a small dispute in claim for damages that his client is making in connection with work that was done at the premises. Nothing to do with the project itself. We sought a continuance for this evening's meeting out to December 10 so we could parse through some of these issues, including this one. And at this time, it would be my argument that it is very premature to elicit any comments from Mr. LaCourse from ourselves at this time until we have a greater amount of time to complete our diligence and get everything necessary together, put together in a very coherent format so we can present it to the board at a later time, December 10th.
Well, my understanding is the petition is here this evening. You've communicated with the board to continue this. Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong or if there's something we need to address here, but the petitioners addressed this. They're the ones that put the application in. We should be only entertaining the petitioner's request for a continuance this evening. Is that correct?
That's basically correct. The board could open up the public hearing and still continue it if it so chose, but if the board wanted to, they could simply just continue the matter without opening up the public hearing at this time.
Yeah. Well, my plan is not to open up the public meeting. It's the petition is here this evening. We received communication. You've shown up this evening. So as far as I'm concerned, we're meeting again on December 10th. So at that time, we'll continue that. So I am not going to open it up to the public at this point.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll see you on December 10th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
So can I have a motion?
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Could I have a motion to continue?
Mr. Chairman?
Sir, you can't address the board. Is it in regards to this?
Yes.
No, there's no
I mean, I
public
went through
meeting.
great,
Huh?
it took a lot for me to get here for this meeting. I mean,
Sir, the matter's already been decided. Sorry about that, but it's already been decided. Thank you.
It will be continued on December the 10th, sir, Monday night.
Yep.
Make a motion to continue till December the 10th, 2012.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bailey?
Continue to December 10th.
Mr. Belanger?
Continue.
Mr. Ahern?
Continue.
Mr. Perrin?
Continue.
Mr. McCarthy?
Continue.
Okay, so that matter will be continued to December 10th. Good evening. All right, our next matter before us is ZB 2012-46. The petition's a special permit on the signs. The applicant is Metro Sign and Awning. The property is located at 2 Hospital Drive. The petition is to change signage branding from Saints Memorial to Lowell General Hospital, Saints Campus, as well as some movement of existing signage pursuant to Section 6.3 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, sir.
Hi, my name is Kevin Duggan. I work for Metro Sign and Awning.
Yep.
Before you should have we've been hired to install the signage at Lowell General Saints Campus. You should have a package in front of you, and if you'd like to, I'd go through the first 4 or 5 pages that show you what we're doing.
Yep.
The first page is the existing ground sign site plan. And moving right along to the second page is what we plan on doing. As you can see, just about all the signs are just replacement signs with new branding. The only changes would be 2 signs are being removed, the one on East Merrimack Street and the message unit board on Nesmith Street. And they're going to be replaced with a sign located just a few feet away on the corner of East Merrimack and Nesmith. And the message board would be replaced with a sign at the corner of Stagpole and Nesmith. The only other difference is there's one other added sign. If you see it, it's right in the middle, 11A. That is a post and panel sign, directional sign, non-illuminating, for doctors' valet parking. Now, if you want to move on to the next page, the big thing there is that's the existing signage on the walls, and the 4th page is what we propose. Once again, there's very few changes. 3 signs are going to be eliminated. They're marked with the orange markings. Sign number 20 is being changed from the word ambulance to ambulance only. And the big one would be, of course, the one on the tower, the internally illuminated halo-lit sign with the logo. If you look to the last page, you'll see a picture of what it will look like. And if you go to the second last page, I believe, there's the specifications on it. what we have done is, they're gonna move it from one part of the tower to the wider part of the tower. And it's halo lit, so it's, the illumination is of a lower, lambent. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, just one quick question I'll make is, the total number of signs that are being removed is how many?
The actual will be a net loss of one, oh, no, I'm sorry, a one post and panel sign,
Okay,
as far as total number goes. A couple have been moved.
yeah. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think you end up reducing at least one sign with the total number of signs that are in the campus. Yep, okay. Anything else you want to add at this point, sir?
I think we're all set.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to open it up to the public first. Anyone here like to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? In favor? Hearing none. That portion of the public hearing is closed. Anyone like to speak in opposition? 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 Hearing none. That portion of the public hearing is closed. I'd like to open it up to the board. Dennis?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I've got a couple questions, but I first want to say that I think there's a lot of improvements being made here with the graphics. There's a lot more contrast, I think, with the new signs, so I think there's an opportunity here that you've taken advantage of, that you're correcting with the current signage. I just want to understand the existing signage that you're replacing. Is it a one-for-one as far as internally lit sign with new internally lit sign?
I believe it is.
And some of the channel letters that you're taking off are internally lit, and they're not.
The channel letters have already been taken down, I believe.
But those were internally lit, I think, as well.
As well. These are opaque letters that are hollow, that have the LED lights in them that shine on the wall, and the light reflects back, and therefore you get the term halo lit. So they're not translucent where the light would come through.
So it's a softer character.
It's a softer light, yeah.
Yep, but it's still easily read and understood. Yep. I think that that's a great improvement. The height of the signage, I see a fair amount of them are at a 13-foot top kind of height. How does that compare to the existing heights? The existing signage isn't listed.
I don't have the specs of the existing, but I suspect they could be slightly high because of the branding with the circle logo. But it'd be minimal.
Okay. And then the 13-foot high signs, they're LED lit versus the fluorescent that they're
they're all
replacing.
LED, yes.
So there's an improvement there. The white text and the red emergency bar, is that halo as well? Or is that
Which sign is this now?
Okay.
The wall sign?
Type B modified?
I'm sorry, B?
B, there's 4 of them there?
No, they're internally lit. They wouldn't be halo.
Those are internally lit,
Those are
matching
internally
pretty
lit.
much what's existing.
Yeah, they would not be, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense,
Yeah.
because I couldn't understand how that text would
No,
ever work.
those would not be internally. The internally lit sign, I mean, the halo lit sign would be the wall sign, the large wall sign on the tower.
The only thing, you've got that Circle Health so close to the ground plane.
Pardon me?
In your logo, you have Circle Health labeled very close to the ground plane. So I'm just wondering how effective, these are not on any legs. These sit on grade, I take it.
Yeah, there's a foundation for them.
And so will they be raised up from the
No, they'll
grade?
be close to the ground,
Right, close to the ground,
very
right?
close to the ground.
Okay. And it's just going to be like a stone or a
Yeah, right.
lawn?
Yeah, it'd be a
kind of
regular
surface?
foundation for the stone.
All right, I think that you've taken advantage of a lot of new technology with the LED and with the graphics, high contrast, and using the channel letters, and I think that you've done a great job, and I
Thank
think
you.
this is a nice improvement. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. Kevin?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I think the signs they look great. I understand the new branding process, and this is a necessity. Just for clarification, are all the signs that we're looking at, they're not all internally illuminated, or are they?
They're not all internally illuminated. Quite a few of them are. If you look at the,
Yeah, no, I went,
starting on page 5, they give you the type of sign and where it's going. Page 5 is all internally illuminated, and they're showing the two views back and front.
But of the dozen or so, some of these don't come under our jurisdiction, I would assume, not being internally illuminated unless they're oversized. So I know you're showing them all, but some probably.
I'm under the belief that all internally illuminated signs have to go before the board.
Internally illuminated would, yeah. I'm talking the non-internally, I think you're
Well,
showing.
we're showing you the whole
Yeah,
plan.
okay. All right, that was my clarification, if you were showing the non-internally
Well, I'm
illuminated as well.
showing you, I'm trying to show you the whole sign package.
Understood. So I didn't know if you were changing some over to internally illuminated. But, you know, again, I understand the process of what you're going through. I actually like the new logo. I like the Saints campus, how they're keeping some of that old name terminology, nostalgia. So good luck with the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Gary?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I concur with my board members. I think the sign plan is very well proposed. I appreciate the comments from the petitioner, and I do appreciate the conservation to LED lighting and the use of halo. I think it's going to be a nice visual out there for the new campus on the city property, so good luck with the project.
Oh, there was one other thing I should have mentioned. The crucifix is going to be moved from the front to the side. Not that it makes any difference. The crucifix was on the front of the tower on Nesmith. It's going to go on the side on Stackpole.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Gary. Corey?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in agreement with my colleagues. It's good to see two major business entities in the city partnering up on this, and they're asking for our support, and I think this board is, once again, will be very supportive. So I think over and all, as Dennis mentioned, you know, the graphics are great, the logo looks good, and above all, I think it creates some good organization where it's visible from a long ways away, where they can see where to park, emergency, and that's very important to me. So I think it's great. I think everything looks great, and I wish you the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. Melissa?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I have no additional comments or questions. I just wanted to say I really appreciated all the visuals that you provided.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Van?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in the recommendation of Mr. Janowitz, our administrator, I just want to fully disclose that my partner does work at Lowell General Hospital. And that aside, I think this is a very well-put package, and it's going to be, I think, a great thing for both hospitals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Van. Well, I echo all the comments from the board members. We also received comments back from DPD, and whenever I see comments come back and they don't have any issues with signage, I'm always a happy camper. Right, Joe? No, I think this looks great. I'm sure it ties all in with the business plan to unite the two sites and get some commonality. So with that said, I'd like to have a motion, please.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the matter before us is ZB 2012-46 for a special permit and signs at 2 Hospital Drive, and make a motion to approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a roll call?
Mr. Bailey?
Approved.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve.
Mr. Ahern?
Approve.
Mr. Perrin?
Approved.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approved?
Okay, sir. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Okay, our next matter is under other business. These are the minutes for approval from October 22nd, 2012. Any comments? Okay, so can we have a roll call?
Who seconded the motion? I'm sorry.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for October the 22nd, 2012.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Bailey?
Approved.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve.
Mr. Ahern?
Approve.
Mr. Perrin?
Approve.
Mr. McCarthy?
Approve?
Okay, any comments from anybody? No? So next meeting, Joe, is
November 26th.
26th. Yep.
It's a week and a half. It'll be
sorry?
back on, it's about a week and a half away. It'll be back on a Monday.
Yep, okay. So with that said, like a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Good night.